What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Gooner channel, a channel 100% dedicated to the Arsenal, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. And I'm doing a series about the players Arsenal have loaned out in the 22-23 season, looking at how they did and what the future holds for them. In today's episode, I'm looking at one who could argue to have had the best spell of any of the loaned players, and that is 21-year-old striker, product of the Hell End Academy, been with Arsenal since he was 8, Folarin Balogun. Now, he had a relatively unsuccessful loan period at Middlesbrough the season before, but found himself at the start of the 22-23 season on loan to Rennes, a mid-table Ligue 1 side who were looking to improve on last season's 12th place finish, managed by Oscar Garcia. He started really well, but Rennes had a difficult start to the season and decided to sack Garcia in October and replace him with his assistant manager, who was a relative unknown, never managed in France before, Will Still. Now, Will got his career in French management off to an absolute cracker with a 14-game unbeaten run and really looked to have transformed Rennes back into a side that could challenge. Large part of his success was down to the goals being scored by Folarin Balogun. He became the top goal scorer under 21 in Europe's top 5 leagues and briefly occupied the top goal scorer chart of French Ligue 1. Now, ultimately, he finished 4th with 20 goals in about 2,900 minutes. And ahead of him, in number 1 with 28 goals, global superstar Kylian Mbappe, who had his goals assisted by Neymar and Messi. Alexandre Lacazette on 27 goals, who we know only too well from Arsenal. Great player, a great contributor, but not somebody who normally scores that many goals, and certainly didn't reach the number of goals that we ideally needed from him in an Arsenal shirt. In third place, really talented, bright young prospect, a couple of years older than Balogun, Jonathan David at Lille. Balogun's stock has never been higher. He's been talked about in a elite company, and there are teams out there that want him. He did sign a contract extension, which means he is technically contracted to Arsenal till 2025, but there has been consistent speculation that he is going to move on this summer. The reasons for that would be that this is going to be the most you're ever going to get for him. If he comes back to Arsenal, doesn't play and doesn't get minutes, he's not going to be worth as much, and then you possibly also have an unhappy player. Now, after being strongly courted by the US men's national team, Folarin Balogun recently decided to represent the United States over England. He could have, in fact, represented England, the United States, or Nigeria. But having chosen the United States, it's likely that they're seeing him as a potential face of the US men's national team, which brings with it huge and lucrative endorsements. And so financially, he should be set. But in order to maintain that kind of high profile, he is going to want to be playing regular minutes. And a chance to do that in the Premier League would certainly help him. So, given that he wants a high profile, the Premier League is the highest profile in the league, is there an argument to say that Flo should come back to Arsenal and challenge for as many minutes as he can get? Given that we're going to be playing Champions League, there is a really good opportunity for him to come and show us what he's capable of. And, well, the sky's the limit if he's as good as he seems to be. It is worth mentioning at this point, though, that there is a fly in the ointment of that plan, and that is that West Ham have identified Flo as somebody who can really lead the charge and transition away from Antonio. They apparently want him as part of a deal that would see Declan Rice go the other way. Now, Declan Rice is, at the time of recording, our number 1 transfer target this summer. So, if that's what it's going to take to get that deal done, I imagine it is going to get done. In an ideal world, though, I would say it would be worth bringing Flo back just to see how he gets on compared to Eddie. And once you know which of those two is higher up the pecking order, then the next player to come in replaces the one on the bottom. It's not clear to me that Eddie Nketiah has done enough this season to be considered a second in terms of minutes to Gabriel Jesus. He did come in and was an able deputy, but towards the end of his time leading the line, it had kind of thrown some of the other players off and really impacted on the way we were playing. Now, we should probably, as a team looking to challenge the Premier League, have a couple of different ways of playing, just like Man City do. But I don't think Eddie Nketiah quite suits the Arsenal that I think Flo does. And I think that if we got a chance to see them both together, we would opt for Flo. And Eddie Nketiah is currently on a contract till 27. And he's on 100,000 a week compared to Folarin's, I think it's 35,000 a week. So in an ideal world, I would be saying bring him back, but we're never going to get as much money for him. We do have a lot of players coming in. I think one of the failings here would be to let him go. We then definitely have to replace him because we've already seen that 2 strikers is not enough. So if he goes as part of a deal that brings in a player like Declan Rice, then that's sad. But I do think he'd be hugely successful at a team like West Ham. And I think that he would start to show people what I suspect, which is that he is a quality player. We'll find out in due course what happens to Flo and the others. I'd love to hear if you agree with any of the things I've said or disagree with any of the things I've said. And look out for the next episode. Be lucky. Lots of love.